Yeah, can we talk about this for a moment now? In college basketball, there's nobody that's grinning from ear to ear more than the Big 12 Conference office. This is back-to-back titles for that league. Baylor last year, Kansas this year. College basketball runs through that league. We talk about how good it is.
And
but
Texas
the Big
Tech
12,
the year before.
The year before.
Yeah, they didn't win it, but they were there.
The Big 12 backs itself
Easy
up
now.
in the tournament.
Easy now.
ACC.
Easy now.
Still a mid-major league.
Easy
That'll be
now.
it for the Field 60.
Yeah, no, easy now.
Sirius
ACC,
XM
we're
Channel
still-
84, by the way.
You're going to be back in the regular season? You're going to be relevant again next year?
I think
What do
we'll
you
come back. I feel pretty comfortable.
All
We'll
right,
be more
all
than
right.
we'll be more than a one-bit lead in December.
That's true. That's where they
No,
were.
the Big 12 has been fantastic.
has been great.
It
It has
really
been
has. And again, back-to-back years. Obviously, Baylor was clearly the best team a year ago. This year, I just thought Kansas showed their toughness, their resiliency, their experience, all of it. And again, the beauty of this team was it wasn't one guy. It was
Exactly right.
I mean, Mitch Lightfoot. You could tell even him in the intangibles he
Yes.
brings, the leadership that he brings. All those 7 guys I thought were impactful.
You had a question. You've been
No,
sitting on
I
a
do.
question, which I think.
Well,
I
his
do. I
feel,
wanna-
you got to be careful with his feel here.
I want to know.
Driving me nuts. Sorry.
Yeah, that was bothering me
That's
too.
bothering me.
I want to know where this ranks for you guys in terms of the best title games that you've seen. I don't think it can't be above Chris Jenkins, right?
No.
It can't be above that one. I thought that the
It can't be above the last Kansas title either.
no, it can't be above that. I don't think you can put it above Virginia
We should
Tech.
get Mario Chalmers.
Virginia and
He was
Texas
over
Tech.
there earlier.
I don't think that you can put it above that. That was a phenomenal basketball game. But you mentioned it, Fana, the biggest halftime comeback that we've ever seen in a title game, right? We had a second half where it felt like there were 2 or 3 knockout blows from each team. There was a punch, a counter punch, a punch, a counter punch, a haymaker, a counter haymaker. We end up having Caleb Love get 2 looks at a game tying 3 in the final 10 seconds. Where does this rank for you guys? Best national title games that you've seen. For me, it's top 5.
It's got to be up there, but I also want, because we're on the topic, I want to give Hubert credit for not calling timeout, because there's going to be a lot of people saying he should have called timeout, he should have drawn something up, and his ATOs have been pretty good, especially this
Very
tournament.
good.
Very, very good, and the way the game was being played, Kansas was so good defensively. You kind of had a semi-transition going on. You get a ball screen action and you hope to make something happen. Just didn't go their way.
But here's why I agree with you. 1, DeJuan Harris was on the bench.
Yeah, good
You
call.
call a timeout, DeJuan Harris
gonna
comes in the
defend.
game. 2, David McCormick's on the floor, Armando Bacot's not. You call a timeout, Kansas can go to that smaller lineup. You won't be able to have those mismatches. Now, it did not work out. They ended up, what did they get, like 2 missed threes down there at the end, something like that? It didn't work out, but I don't think that what they've relied on all season long, you said this, Caleb Love making bad shots.
Being a closer.
Caleb Love being a closer. And if Hubert calls a timeout, what's he drawing up? Something to probably get Caleb Love some kind of isolation, right? And now you're doing it without DeJuan Harris on the floor, and you're doing it without having to deal with like the proper matchups. That's the only thing. I think if you call a timeout, it's fine. I think sometimes you just let your guys rock.
I don't disagree with that. Here's where I disagree with the use of timeouts. They let they let Kansas get so close before they finally stopped the bleeding. You should have known when that got to 9 or 8 that it was coming. We all felt it coming. We all knew it was coming. And you allow them. Basketball is a wave of momentum. He could have taken an early timeout in that second half to say, let's reset here for a moment. They did not, and they paid for it. It was in the blink of an eye. This was a game again.
It was fatigue, and they weren't get back. It was transition. They weren't running anything. I still thought that if they got
that's
back,
something to be said with the timeouts.
But if he was that good out of timeouts, then you call one to get a high percentage shot out of one. I thought he mismanaged his timeouts tonight. He did a great job. You can both say he had a great season, and the fact that tonight, for the second time in this tournament, because they lost a huge lead to Baylor, Carolina lost the lead.
They ran into a team that could capitalize.
right?
Yeah, heck yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I mean, that Kansas team, you know what made them special? They did not rely on one part to win for them. They didn't have one guy tonight with over 15 points. And I'll tell you what, I've hated on Remy Martin. We've hated on Remy Martin. If Remy Martin doesn't do that in the second half, Kansas might lose the game.
I don't think he had a great game. He had
He had a great second
he had a
half.
great
Great second half.
He had a
good
couple great
stretch.
possessions. He had a
He
good,
had
but
three
that's what they
huge
did all.
threes.
Yeah, that's what they did all game long. It was. I thought Brown was great early in the first half when they were struggling, or doing that run in the second half because they was running them off the shuffle screen, and I took for granted how big he was, and I said this to UTL. Besides, I was surprised how much bigger he was than Love, and they were running him off the shuffle screen. He was catching it and just finishing in the paint over Love, and I was thinking like, wow. And they just kept going to it, and that's what got him going. He got a couple in transition, so he ran off his double-digit point total right there, doing that comeback.
And they didn't really have Baycott. That was the thing, is in the second half, he wasn't, like
Yeah.
you said, he wore
Yeah,
down,
he
so
wore
he
down.
wasn't a rim protector. Not that he's a big-time rim protector, but he's a big body in there.
It just gets in the way.
Right.
Having
And
that body
you
to
saw
get
it in the
way.
first half. Christian Brown would drive, and he drove into traffic, and he got swallowed up. And in the second half, he was able to finish. Part of it, again, because I think they had more juice in their legs
They did.
than Carolina did.
They did. They were unrattled to start that second half. I think we all felt like they'd make their run, but to 31-10.
But think
31
about
to
it.
10.
That's what the game was. Kansas comes out
It's true.
7-0 run, and then it's a 40-18 run from Carolina to finish the half.
It was crazy.
It was a 7-0 and to finish the half, and then Kansas. We said it. Kansas is going to make a run. We didn't know it would be a run of that magnitude.
I talked to Matt Painter in between. He was sitting back there, and we were talking at halftime, and he said, he's like, first 4 minutes of the second half is going to determine the game.
Yes.
And it did.
Yes.
It did, because if they didn't come out like they did, and again, Harris, quick steal, drive down, Brown gets a layup, they just get that kind of swagger back. They get momentum. They get their crowd into it. They're feeling like, all right, we got this.
Now, I'll say this from a coaching perspective, because I know a lot of coaches, they just hate doing this. But I don't understand when you have a limited rotation and you're this deep in the tournament, why teams don't implement zone. Because if I take that team and I look out there and they give Ochai Agbaji a rest, I'm zoning that team
Zone 'em.
with
Yeah,
Wilson, with McCormick, with
And they
Harris.
Duke
With
did that
Harris.
in the
There's
tournament.
only one guy on the floor is probably Brown that I'm worried about. Anybody else out there, even if Remy's in the game, but when they put that, they had a lot of, because defensively, Harris was on the floor. They got 2 guys on the floor, 3 guys. You don't have to guard outside the paint. So if I'm really looking to limit, you just get so caught up in it. I don't understand. You put yourself in trouble because you can't use it if you don't use it. When you need it. You need it there at that time, save you some time. Guys didn't have it. I thought with the amount of limit of rotation you had, it could have helped you.